If there's one lesson here, it's this: survival isn't about who spends the most money, it's about who prepares the smartest. Every single one of these dollar store items proves that ordinary tools, hiding in plain sight, can outperform expensive gear when it matters most. The difference between being ready and being caught off guard often comes down to knowledge, and now you've got an edge most people will never think about. But here's the truth: there are dozens more hidden tools and strategies that can protect you and your family when disaster strikes. And the next time shelves go empty, power goes out, or panic sets in, the information you carry will matter more than anything you own. So if you found even one idea here that opened your eyes, imagine what you'll miss if you don't stick around. Hit that subscribe button right now and join a community of people who refuse to be caught unprepared, because the next video could hold the one tip that saves your life and you don't want to miss it. Number 1. Plastic cutting boards. When preppers think of durability in the field, they imagine pricey titanium cooking surfaces or heavy-duty tactical gear. The mistake? Overlooking lightweight, disposable solutions that do the exact same job. A plastic cutting board may not look like survival gear, but that's exactly why it works. It's overlooked, ignored, and therefore always available when panic buyers strip the shelves of real equipment. In practice, this cheap board is a game changer. It becomes a clean and safe base for preparing food, protecting your tools from dirt or contamination. Place it over muddy ground, and suddenly you've got a sanitary workspace in the wild. It's also heat-resistant enough to act as a buffer under a hot pot near a fire. And if you've ever tried processing fish or game in the field, you'll know how valuable a stable cutting surface really is. But the uses go beyond food prep. In cold environments, a cutting board doubles as insulation between your body and frozen ground, preventing heat loss in emergencies. In urban disasters, it can act as a makeshift shield against broken glass or debris. And in a pinch, drill a few holes and you've got a snow shovel, a signaling panel, or even a sturdy splint for broken limbs. That's multiple roles from a tool most people dismiss as kitchen junk. Here's where it gets interesting. Preppers spend $40 or more on collapsible camp tables, field prep kits, or specialized backcountry cutting mats. Yet a $1 dollar store cutting board is lighter, easier to replace, and can be stocked in multiples. For the price of one expensive survival prep station, you could fill an entire bag with backups, and redundancy is everything in a crisis. Search and rescue instructors quietly recommend keeping at least one flat, rigid surface in every bug-out kit, precisely because of its versatility. The cutting board fills that role perfectly. Pro tip: cut one down to fit inside your pack, half the weight, same utility, and it slides in flat alongside maps or water bladders. Most people will laugh at the idea of packing a cutting board for survival. But the ones who've tried it know it's the cheapest insurance you'll ever buy. And wait until you see item hash on 0, because it's even more overlooked, and its survival role will blow you away. Number 2. Metal cooling racks. So, metal cooling racks don't look like survival gear at all. In fact, most people see it only in the kitchen aisle. But a simple metal cooling rack can do what expensive camp grills and drying systems promise at a fraction of the cost. And in a crisis, this overlooked tool could be the difference between eating cold rations and cooking a real meal. Here's the mistake most preppers make. They believe fire cooking requires heavy cast iron grates or pricey backpacking stoves. They drag along gear that weighs a ton and costs $50 to $100. The truth? You don't need a specialized camp kitchen to survive. A $1 cooling rack gives you the same function: a flat, elevated surface that keeps your food stable over open flames. And because it's lightweight and compact, you can carry several without noticing the weight. Imagine setting up a fire in the woods. Place the cooling rack across 2 rocks, and suddenly you have a stable grill for boiling water or cooking protein. Flip it, and it becomes a drying rack for fish, herbs, or strips of meat, exactly what indigenous cultures have done for centuries to preserve food without refrigeration. In urban survival, it even works as a makeshift stand for heating canned goods safely without scorching them. But the versatility doesn't stop there. A cooling rack can be bent or cut into sections, turning into a splint frame, a gear shelf inside your pack, or even an improvised animal trap when paired with a box and cord. Because it's metal, it doubles as a signaling mirror when polished, and when wired together, 2 racks become a sturdy grate that rivals equipment costing 20 times more. Consider this. Outdoor stores sell stainless steel camp grills for $40 or more. They're heavy, bulky, and if you lose one, you're stuck. Dollar store cooling racks? Grab 5 for the same price, stash them in different bags, and guarantee redundancy. Pro tip: Coat them lightly with cooking oil before storage to resist rust, or wrap in foil so they're ready the moment you need them. Most people dismiss a cooling rack as kitchen clutter. But in survival, the simplest tools often become the most valuable. And if you think this was surprising, wait until you see the next item. It's even cheaper, and its hidden survival use could save your life. Number 3. Shower rods. This might look completely out of place in a survival kit. After all, most people only think of a shower rod as something you mount in the bathroom. But in reality, this overlooked tool can transform a fragile shelter into a secure hideout, create privacy in emergencies, and even double as a structural support when everything else fails. The mistake many preppers make is assuming only expensive camping poles or military-grade supports can hold up tarps, blankets, or partitions. They spend $60 or more on branded gear when a single $1 shower rod provides the same function: adjustable, lightweight, and strong enough to handle far more than most people expect. And in a crisis, adaptability matters more than shiny logos. Set between two walls or trees, a tension rod instantly becomes the backbone of an improvised shelter. Hang a blanket over it, and you've got warmth and privacy in a crowded space. In disaster relief centers, where dozens of families are crammed into one room, that simple partition can restore dignity and comfort. Outdoors, the same rod holds up tarps against wind and rain, giving you a dry, stable cover without the need for specialized tent frames. But that's just the start. A shower rod doubles as a drying line for wet clothes, preventing hypothermia when temperatures drop. In kitchens without power, it can hold hanging cookware. In urban settings, it serves as a temporary barricade for doors or windows, and in medical emergencies, the rod can even act as a splint or stretcher support when lashed to fabric or boards. The more you think outside the box, the more roles this $1 tool takes on. Specialty survival poles cost a fortune and are often too bulky to carry everywhere. Dollar store rods? Buy several, keep them in cars, basements, or bug-out bags. Pro tip: choose the adjustable models with rubber ends. They grip surfaces securely and won't slip, even when the structure is under tension. Most people dismiss a shower rod as bathroom junk, but in survival, it becomes the skeleton of safety and privacy. And if you thought this was clever, wait until you see the next item, because its hidden use could save your gear, your shelter, and maybe even your life. Number 4. Silica gel packets. Every year, millions of people toss away something that could quietly decide whether their survival supplies last for days or for decades. It's small, it's overlooked, and it usually comes hidden inside the boxes of new shoes, electronics, and food packages. Most see it as trash, but in a survival crisis, this forgotten tool can protect your food, your ammo, and even your health. I'm talking about silica gel packets, the tiny lifelines almost everyone ignores. The average person sees a packet labeled, "Do not eat," and thinks it's useless. The mistake is underestimating what moisture can do to your survival supplies. Water destroys food stores, corrodes ammunition, and kills electronics. Preppers spend hundreds on waterproof cases and dehumidifiers when a handful of silica gel packets does the exact same job for pennies. In a crisis, keeping your gear dry isn't optional, it's survival. A silica packet inside an ammo can keep gunpowder reliable. Slip one into a bag of rice or flour, and you add months of safe storage. Toss them into a first aid kit, and bandages stay sterile instead of molding. Even critical electronics like radios or flashlights stay operational when silica absorbs the hidden humidity that would otherwise short them out. But the utility goes further. Silica can dry wet seeds for planting, preserve vitamins and pills, and even keep photographs or important documents from curling and rotting. Outdoors, a packet dropped into a damp boot can pull moisture overnight, preventing blisters or fungal infections. In other words, this tiny throwaway packet quietly protects your food, your health, and your gear all at once. Here's the kicker. Preppers often buy large dehumidifiers or specialized desiccant packs for $20 to $50. But dollar store silica packets do the same job. Pro tip: recharge them by baking in a low oven for an hour, and they're as good as new, endlessly reusable. Most people throw silica gel away without a second thought. Smart preppers collect them, store them, and multiply their value. And if you think this hidden gem is clever, wait until you see the next item. It's even stranger, but its survival use is priceless. Number 5. Aluminum baking pans. Most people walk right past this item without giving it a second thought. It's stacked in the kitchen aisle, flimsy, cheap, and usually bought for baking holiday desserts. But in a survival situation, this overlooked tool becomes one of the most versatile pieces of gear you can carry. Ignore it, and you're missing out on a survival multi-tool that outperforms equipment costing 30 times more. The mistake many preppers make is assuming only heavy stainless cookware or specialized camp stoves will last in a crisis. They load their bags with expensive gear that's bulky and weighs a ton. But aluminum baking pans are lightweight, disposable, and surprisingly tough. And because they're dirt cheap, you can stockpile dozens for the price of one branded survival pot. In the field, these pans serve as improvised cooking pots. Boil water to make it safe, heat canned goods without scorching, or cook rice and pasta over open coals. Because aluminum distributes heat evenly, it's perfect for baking bread or roasting meat inside a simple campfire oven. And when food security is everything, having a reliable way to cook becomes the difference between thriving and starving. But the utility doesn't stop at cooking. Flip a pan upside down, and you've got a reflective signaling device visible for miles. Cut and shape it, and it becomes a lightweight container for storing seeds, berries, or scavenged supplies. In cold weather, aluminum trays reflect body heat when placed near a fire or inside a shelter. And in medical emergencies, they can even function as sterile basins for cleaning wounds or holding instruments. Outdoor retailers sell compact cooking kits for $40 or more. They're heavy, and if you lose one, you're stuck. Aluminum pans cost $1. Pro tip: line them with foil or double them up for durability, and they'll last through repeated uses. Keep a stack in your bug-out bag, car, and pantry. You'll thank yourself later. Most people think aluminum pans are disposable junk, but in survival, their versatility makes them priceless. And if this shocked you, the next item is even more ordinary, yet its hidden use could save your shelter, your gear, and maybe even your life. Number 6. Plastic whisk. At first glance, this item looks like it belongs only in a kitchen drawer. Cheap, flimsy, and designed for baking, right? But in a survival situation, a simple plastic whisk can become a surprisingly effective multi-tool. It's overlooked, underestimated, and yet it can outperform expensive gadgets when you need resourcefulness the most. The mistake most people make is assuming survival tools must be heavy, tactical, or branded with military labels. That mindset keeps them from seeing how lightweight, ordinary objects can serve in critical roles. A plastic whisk costs a single dollar, weighs almost nothing, and offers durability because it doesn't corrode, snap, or rust like metal alternatives. Its primary strength? Mixing and aerating. In survival mode, powdered foods like milk, protein supplements, and rehydrated meals can clump into unusable lumps without proper stirring. A whisk solves this instantly, keeping food smooth, drinkable, and nutritious. That difference matters when every calorie counts. Beyond food, it stirs homemade cleaning agents or improvised disinfectants, making it an essential tool for hygiene and health in a crisis. But the creative applications are where the whisk truly shines. Cut the loops, and you've got flexible rods for cleaning tubes, siphons, or water filters. Bend them outward, and it doubles as a scrub brush for cookware. In the field, a whisk can even sift dirt or sand for water filtration, acting as the first barrier before finer filters. And because it's plastic, it won't spark, dent, or add unnecessary weight to your pack. Consider this: specialty camp utensils cost $15 to $25 each, often fragile and limited to one use. A dollar store whisk handles multiple tasks for a fraction of the price. Pro tip: pack two, keep one intact for cooking, and modify the second into cleaning or filtering tools. Redundancy costs only $2, but in survival, it can mean everything. Most people laugh at the idea of carrying a whisk into a survival situation, but those who understand versatility know it's exactly these simple tools that make the difference. And if this surprised you, wait until the next item because its hidden use is even stranger and even more valuable. Number 7. Gardening kneeling pads. At first glance, this item looks like it belongs only in a kitchen drawer. Cheap, flimsy, and designed for baking, right? But in a survival situation, a simple plastic whisk can become a surprisingly effective multi-tool. It's overlooked, underestimated, and yet it can outperform expensive gadgets when you need resourcefulness the most. The mistake most people make is assuming survival tools must be heavy, tactical, or branded with military labels. That mindset keeps them from seeing how lightweight, ordinary objects can serve in critical roles. A plastic whisk costs a single dollar, weighs almost nothing, and offers durability because it doesn't corrode, snap, or rust like metal alternatives. Its primary strength: mixing and aerating. In survival mode, powdered foods like milk, protein supplements, and rehydrated meals can clump into unusable lumps without proper stirring. A whisk solves this instantly, keeping food smooth, drinkable, and nutritious. That difference matters when every calorie counts. Beyond food, it stirs homemade cleaning agents or improvised disinfectants, making it an essential tool for hygiene and health in a crisis. But the creative applications are where the whisk truly shines. Cut the loops, and you've got flexible rods for cleaning tubes, siphons, or water filters. Bend them outward, and it doubles as a scrub brush for cookware. In the field, a whisk can even sift dirt or sand for water filtration, acting as the first barrier before finer filters. And because it's plastic, it won't spark, dent, or add unnecessary weight to your pack. Consider this: specialty camp utensils cost $15 to $25 each, often fragile and limited to one use. A dollar store whisk handles multiple tasks for a fraction of the price. Pro tip: pack two, keep one intact for cooking, and modify the second into cleaning or filtering tools. Redundancy costs only $2, but in survival, it can mean everything. Number 8. Spray bottles. Some survival tools don't come from outdoor catalogs or tactical shops. They come from the cleaning aisle, disguised as ordinary household supplies. A simple spray bottle may look like the last thing you'd pack in a bug-out bag, but when you understand its hidden uses, this $1 item turns into a survival powerhouse. Here's the mistake: people assume survival tools must be knives, fire starters, or heavy-duty gear. But survival is often about improvisation, and water management is at the heart of it. Spray bottles are dismissed as cleaning tools, yet in a survival setting, they become multi-purpose instruments that solve problems expensive gear can't touch. The first role is temperature control. In extreme heat, misting water onto clothing or skin accelerates cooling and prevents heat stroke, a life-threatening danger often overlooked. In dry climates, a spray bottle doubles as a personal humidifier, easing, breathing, and preventing dehydration. And when water is scarce, fine misting reduces consumption, stretching limited supplies far longer than pouring from a cup or jug. But the adaptability doesn't stop there. Fill one with disinfectant, and you have a portable sanitation system for cleaning wounds, tools, or shelter surfaces. Load it with vinegar or bleach solution, and it becomes a cheap, effective way to kill bacteria. Spray bottles can even control small fires by damping kindling before sparks spread. And in gardening or long-term survival, they're vital for starting seedlings and keeping crops alive with minimal water. Specialized hydration sprayers and sanitation kits sell for $20 to $40. A dollar store spray bottle? $1, lightweight, and endlessly refillable. Pro tip: choose the adjustable nozzles that switch from mist to stream mist for cooling and hydration, stream for cleaning or fire control. Most people laugh at the idea of packing a spray bottle in a survival kit, but when the heat rises, the water runs low, or sanitation breaks down, it could be the smartest tool you own. And if you thought this was clever, the next item will surprise you even more, because its hidden value can literally protect your life. Number 9. Permanent markers. Most people see a permanent marker as nothing more than an office supply, but in survival, this simple $1 tool transforms into a critical resource that can guide, protect, and even save lives. Overlook it, and you're leaving behind one of the cheapest, most effective communication tools in a crisis. The mistake most preppers make is assuming communication only means radios, phones, or high-tech gear. But what happens when the grid is down, batteries die, and the signal goes silent? That's where a permanent marker shines. It requires no power, no training, and works in any environment. It's the low-tech fallback that never fails. A marker allows you to label food storage with expiration dates, preventing deadly mistakes with spoiled supplies. You can mark water containers, fuel cans, or medical gear for instant recognition in low light. On the move, markers become trail sign, tools, arrows, warnings, and notes left behind for family or rescue teams. In urban survival, scrawling "safe" or "help" across walls, windows, or vehicles can be the difference between being found or forgotten. Beyond communication, permanent markers solve dozens of small but crucial problems. Mark clothing or gear with names to prevent loss in group shelters. Draw improvised maps if navigation tools fail. Even in medical emergencies, you can write vital information directly on skin allergies, injuries, or time tourniquets were applied, a trick used by combat medics worldwide. These are not conveniences, they're life-saving tactics. High-end tactical writing kits sell for $15 to $30, marketed as survival pens. Yet a dollar store marker performs better on wet surfaces, rough wood, or metal. Pro tip: store multiple colors: black for general use, red for medical alerts, and bright colors for signaling. $1 each, unlimited possibilities. Most people ignore markers because they seem too ordinary. But in survival, ordinary tools often become extraordinary. And the next item proves it because its hidden use could change how you protect your supplies forever. Number 10. Elastic hair ties. They look fragile, colorful, and almost useless in a survival kit. Most people think of them only as accessories tossed in a bathroom drawer. But elastic hair ties are one of the cheapest, most versatile tools you can carry, and in a crisis, their hidden uses could make all the difference. Here's the mistake. Preppers chase expensive straps, bungee cords, and tactical clips, believing only heavy-duty gear will hold up in the field. But survival isn't always about brute strength, it's about adaptability. Elastic hair ties may look weak, but their stretch, durability, and size make them ideal for dozens of quick fixes when specialized gear isn't available. The first role is gear management. Use hair ties to bundle firewood, secure tarps, or keep tools fastened to a pack. They work as zipper pulls when gloves make it hard to grab, or as improvised latches for containers. Even something as simple as organizing cords, wires, or fishing line prevents dangerous tangles that waste precious time. But the creative applications are where hair ties really shine. In the field, they can become emergency slingshot bands, fishing line tensioners, or even a makeshift tourniquet in dire situations. Wrap one around boots or pants, and you've got instant insect guards. And in cold weather, they secure cloth around wrists and ankles to trap heat. Small, light, and nearly invisible, but incredibly effective. Outdoor retailers sell compact fastening systems for $20 to $30, marketed as ultralight survival organizers. A pack of dollar store hair ties costs $1 and delivers the same flexibility. Pro tip: choose the thicker, fabric-covered versions. They stretch longer, last months, and won't snap under stress. Most people dismiss hair ties as useless extras. But in survival, it's often the smallest tools that solve the biggest problems. And if this surprised you, the next item will push that even further, turning something ordinary into pure life-saving utility. Number 11. Plastic rain ponchos. The common mistake is assuming that only expensive rain jackets or high-end outdoor shells offer real protection. Preppers often spend $100 or more on branded rain gear. But in a crisis, staying dry isn't about fashion, it's about survival. Hypothermia can set in at temperatures as mild as 50 degrees when you're wet and exposed. A plastic poncho prevents that risk for a fraction of the cost. At its simplest, the poncho shields you from rain and wind, but its true power is versatility. It doubles as a ground sheet to keep your body off wet soil, or as an overhead tarp to create instant shelter. Cut it open, and it becomes a waterproof sheet for covering gear, sealing windows, or collecting rainwater in an emergency. Its size and flexibility give you protection no single-purpose jacket can match. Survival is about adaptability, and ponchos excel here. Stuff one with leaves, and it becomes an improvised sleeping mat or insulation pad. Use it to trap warm air around your body like a mini greenhouse. In a group, multiple ponchos tied together create a large rainfly big enough for several people, and because they weigh almost nothing, you can carry several without ever noticing the space. Most people dismiss plastic ponchos as disposable junk, but in survival, they're cheap insurance against the most dangerous killer outdoors: exposure. And the next item takes that same principle of simplicity and turns it into a survival tool few people ever think about. If there's one lesson here, it's this: survival isn't about who spends the most money, it's about who prepares the smartest. Every single one of these dollar store items proves that ordinary tools, hiding in plain sight, can outperform expensive gear when it matters most. The difference between being ready and being caught off guard often comes down to knowledge, and now you've got an edge most people will never think about. But here's the truth. This was just the start. There are dozens more hidden tools and strategies that can protect you and your family when disaster strikes. And the next time shelves go empty, power goes out, or panic sets in, the information you carry will matter more than anything you own. So if you found even one idea here that opened your eyes, imagine what you'll miss if you don't stick around. Hit that subscribe button right now and join a community of people who refuse to be caught unprepared, because the next video could hold the one tip that saves your life and you don't want to miss it.